the four panelists, please come on stage. I may ask Mrs. Angelika Huemer on stage. Thank you very much for coming. Most of her will know her. You're the managing partner and CEO of Starlinger. It's a great pleasure to have you here with us. I heard there's so many clients at your booth today, unexpected on Saturday, so maybe you have to leave earlier, might be. So I please ask you to take a seat and enjoy the afternoon. And the next one to welcome on stage is Mirjam Meyer. She's Vice President, Circular Economy Solutions at Borealis. Thank you, Mirjam, for being here. Thank you so much. The next one I might ask on stage is Laura Florez. We have known each other for quite a while. We're colleagues. So great to have you here. Thank you, Laura. Chief Editor-in-Chief of Tecnología del Plástico, is that right? I don't speak any Spanish. So General Director of ICIPC in Colombia. So great to have you. And you also have your own consulting firm. It's PM Tech Engineering. So we'll talk about it later. And last but not least, Viviane Papa, please come on stage. She leads global HR talent management at EVONIK. That's very interesting because that's a section I've never heard of, so that it's really established in the company. So we're happy to have you here. Thanks for your time. And when I prepared for the talk, Mrs. Huemer, I talked to your assistant, and we both had the same opinion that you don't have to show a best practice example, because you are a best practice example, really, leading a big company and having family and everything together and being a role model for many of us, I think. So my first question to you, I don't have to ask you what motivated to go into this industry, because I think it's in your DNA, is that right? And but what motivated to stay here, and what do you want to pass on for younger people? What do you think? What's your opinion on this? Thank you for your statement.
Thank you very much, Kerstin. Yes, I can say I was born into it. As my father constructed the first circular looms for fabric made out of polypropylene, which was formerly done with jute fabric. And this laid also the foundation to our company and our existing business. It is really fascinating to be here. I started in the business of my parents 1983, so it's more than 42 years that I'm working also in the company, and I'm since 2002 also the CEO of Starlinger. And it was really a very successful journey so far. And we just recently also launched a Adista to Adista bag, which is a polypropylene cement bag. And this is really now the first time where also a cement bag can be closed to close the loop and put it in the circle. So we have the first post-consumer recycled polypropylene cement bag on our booth, also in hall 16. Thank you. Yeah, so today the circular loom business is still a main part of our business. But we also have other portfolios, like also to have the circular loop for other plastics like PET bottles and also PET trays with our two divisions, Recycling Technology and Viscotech. And so it's really, it's what I think it's also necessary for the plastic to close the cycle. Yeah. Not only to consume and so, but to close it, to put it back. It's one of my driver in this business.
Sorry. Yeah. I think we can say that this innovation moment that we have at the moment also is maybe a chance to bring more young people into the industry, because it's not only about waste anymore, it's really about closing the loop.
Closing the loop for a very good product, and I also see as a sustainable product. And drives me, what I want to give to others, because I think I'm the eldest here. In the meantime, even I was the youngest many years ago, is also for women in this aspect is I'm dealing around the world with a lot of customers, and also a lot of family businesses, and when they have daughters, I like when the daughters are in here and take their part also in countries which are not in Europe, but maybe in Arabic countries, in Asian countries, African countries, or Latin American countries. That also drives me somehow.
It's really great to see how you can inspire people and your clients. I know some of them. I had the chance to be at some events already with clients from you. It's really the families that come all together that have the same drive. And you can say yourself, you also pass it on to the next generations. When I may say this,
my
daughter is also here.
My daughter is here. My sons are on the booth for the customers.
Yes, very good. It's very nice to have you here too. Thank you very much for coming and also supporting the family to be here on stage. Thank you very much for the first statement. I just wanted to ask if we have already some questions maybe from the Slido tool. Do we have any chance to show them or to, I don't know how far my colleagues are. Do we have any information about that? Or is anybody here? Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. I didn't see that on the back. I would like to read that because not everyone can see it probably. Hi, I would like to know the different countries that we are from. That's an interesting question, that's true. So, may I start with Mrs. Huemer? We're from Austria. Is anyone here from Austria?
We're from Austria, yeah.
Yeah. Are there other Austrians? I can see them in the back there, Steffi, for example. Hi. Corinna, somewhere around. Yeah, very good. So I guess there might be some Germans in here. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, a few. From
Colombia.
From Colombia. Do you have anyone from Colombia here?
Over here.
Yeah. Mirjam.
I am actually from Germany, but I do work in Austria.
Yes,
so
I was not sure now. I didn't want to say you're from Austria, Germany if you're not. So very good. So do we have any other nationalities in here? Yeah, where from? Very nice. Island.
Salvador.
El Salvador. Oh, very nice to have you here. Oh, very good. Where are you from? Switzerland. Yeah, very nice. In India. Yeah, India. Yeah. Finland. Very good. So it's really all over the place. Sorry.
From Turkey.
Japan. Yeah, very good. Turkey? Someone from Turkey here? Yeah, you said you're from Turkey. Sorry, I didn't hear that. Argentina. Hey. So South America is quite strong. Uruguay. Yeah, very good. Where are you from? Nigeria. Very good. We don't have a lot of African continent in here, but Algeria. Very good. Mexico. Hi. Some other colleagues from Mexico back there. Very good to see you all. Belgium. Very good. Anyone else?
There's one. Kerstin.
Sorry. From China. Yeah, very good. So it's very diverse, I would say. I didn't expect that. I thought there's mainly people from Germany, Austria. Yeah. So no, very good to have you all here. Great. So this was the first question that we could answer. Is there anything else that I didn't see? Or yeah, very good. You like that tool, I see. You did a good job. How do we encourage young girls to get interested in technical fields best? That's a good question because there's a lot about education actually around this topic. Who wants to start?
I can take
Yes,
this one
very
actually
good.
because it's a
Viviane,
topic
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
very dear to my heart, professionally but also privately. Because I think if we talk about women in plastics or women as leaders and as experts, we need to make sure that first of all we get them in there. So that starts not after school, but we already need to start during school to have a level play field where we can make sure that the girls are interested in topics which maybe sometimes receive that stamp of, oh, that's a boys' activity, or you're not smart enough for that. So counteracting this, being present at schools, advertising, doing experiments, showing what can be done with scientific research and activities is, I think, very crucial in order to get, in general, the awareness of own strengths in girls and interests going into STEM so that later on we can also support these ladies who have developed their own interests into moving into companies and into the industry.
So is your company going into like schools where children are between 10 or 14 years or so? Because I think this is a very important age to talk to them.
That's super important. So
Okay.
we have various collaborations also with newspapers or with public entities where we do some activities like how do we call it, the children's university. Yeah. So for doing some chemical experiments where we have colleagues who do that in their free time, and then they get a kit from us and they go into the kindergartens partially or in primary schools to do this. But that's only one part. The other one is that we are very strong also in advertising our vocational training that we do. So the apprenticeships, especially in Germany, is a very, very important source of intake for the experts that we need in the field. And so going into the schools where the kids in 7th, 8th grade get to know us, also the parents, and get to know what we can do and how working in the chemicals industry can be a really, really great target for girls as well as boys is something that is very important to us.
I would also like to comment on that. I think it's very important for us to take care of the language because, of course, as very young girls and very young children, we are always very aware of what's told to us. So if we are told, no, this is not for you, this is too hard for you, this is going to, be too difficult, then you are starting to believe that.
Too heavy, whatever.
Right. There's nothing less true than that. I have devoted my career to mechanical engineering, and now I'm a directive position in plastics, and I can tell you, plastics industry is worth of my talent. So I can really pursue a very challenging career here in plastics, and I think it's very important for us to talk to girls like that. You are able to pursue anything you want. You are worthy of pursuing anything as challenging as it may be in whatever field you feel like. And it is very important to not close the doors to very small children. So if you are interested, just make sure that you take care of the words you put in the ears of your children.
Sorry, we didn't give you words so far, so I hope this is your question you want to answer.
Absolutely happy to contribute. Look, from my perspective, and I have 2 kids myself, but I think girls are super excited about doing experiments. So there's nothing inherently that stops them from it. To be honest, where I think we can play a role is to be attractive as an industry, right? Because I think at the moment there's a lot of doom and gloom and everything is going into a downturn, and all of that is true. It's hard times. But to be honest, it's also very interesting and challenging times, right? There's a transformation ongoing. That's something that I was very excited about getting into when I went into the plastics industry. There's a ton of really cool applications out there that are fun to be part of and that are fun to develop. And I think that's also what we need to be able to transport and what we can do as an industry, because there's very cool machinery, there's super cool applications, there's a lot of things that make daily life better. And I mean, my previous job was circular economy, as you pointed out. I've meanwhile moved on to actually lead a business unit or lead a business that is LDPE and PE compounding, where we contribute to making applications for the wire and cable industry. And that is actually helping the energy transition. So as an industry, I think we really have a super cool role to play to enabling all of the future applications, and Europe also plays a super strong role in that. And I think that is something that we can do a much better job, all of us and all of you, to excite young talents about, because that will actually, I mean, they come with the natural talents that they have. We need to actually do our role and really getting them into our industry and into our companies.
Do you want to comment on it?
Only one small comment. I also think really have to encourage the young girls and so, and Starlinger, for instance, we also make each year Girls' Day, like also our book does, I just heard. It's an initiate also of the Austrian government, and I think this is what we should do this, and really to encourage them, I'm sure, and then when they have the interest, they will do it.
I think encouragement and education is so important, to have a good education for girls and boys, so they have the choice afterwards. I really enjoyed staying at home with my boys when they were babies and small children, but then I had the background to go back to work, and I really liked it, and I still like it. So I think it's a choice that you can make afterwards when you get the chance of a good education. And normally, and that's really a fact, we don't talk to 50% of the population when we talk about technical jobs, technical possibilities in the field of our work. Yeah, it's so we really need to pick up here, and but I think we're doing quite a good job today. So what do you think? You like it so far? Yeah, yeah, is everything fine? Do we have another question, or does anyone want to post a question from the audience here?
Actually, while we're waiting for that, can I thank you all for coming? It gives me a lot of energy that you guys are here,
that's
right?
good.
Because I mean,
thank you.
It's a Sunday evening, right? You
Yeah,
could be doing
that's
whatever,
really good.
and I think that's actually, so thanks a lot.
Thank you for coming. I mean, it's also Sunday for you, so. But we have another question. What are the networks, groups that women in plastics should be in? It's quiet. We don't have any networks here. Now I think we're a big network ourselves. I mean, if I walk around this fairground, there's a lot of great women here.
I have a remark. I think we should all be in the VDI, Verein Deutscher Ingenieure. It's not only for German engineers, it's also for engineers from other countries, and there is a mentoring program for young engineering women, and I think everyone about 5 or 6 years after their studies should join to get a mentor on hand and to grow strong.
Very good, thank you. We have another comment on that. Thank you.
I might join. I'm from the German Kautschuk. I'm from the German Kautschuk Society, Deutsche Kautschuk-Gemeinschaft, und wir haben auch ein Frauennetzwerk und wir bieten auch Mentoring an, genau das Gleiche, denn wir haben auch erkannt, das ist einer der Wege, junge Frauen in die Industrie zu bekommen.
It's very good to hear, and I think we will stay in contact just right behind maybe with a drink or something, and talk about it, how we can integrate maybe more of these great networks, especially for mentoring. Yeah. These networks and opportunities. I think that's the problem. We don't know, or most of us don't know the opportunities that are already open. So this is why we're here for. Very good. Does anyone want to comment on that?
Well, I just wanted to comment about networking. I think it's very important for us to be aware of the different opportunities that we have in the different countries. I particularly believe we need to be very active in environmental causes, and we need to be very active also in regulations that are happening all around the world. Well, not only as women, but of course as part of the plastics industry. There's a lot of information that we have to provide, and a lot of like messages that we have to come through. There's a lot happening in this industry, and a lot happening towards sustainability. So it's very important for us also to transfer this message through society.
Did you want to say something? Sorry.
I think there's no question up.
Ah,
so
very
I think
good.
it would be interesting to answer that one, right?
Oh, yeah. How does a technical person get further into the chain of greater responsibility? For example, director or global head. How's it in your company? How do you? Is there like a recipe or something that we can pass on?
I think there must be the passion for it, and sure the ability must be there for the person. And I really see for the person, it should not be if it's women or it's a man. Therefore, I also say it here. I'm not for a quota because I think it should be really who is the best in this position, and if you, and I think especially here in Europe, you have the possibility to reach when you want to make your career, and it's maybe different in other regions, but in Europe I would say it is possible. And sure, we have a lot of very good role models here around. We had it already on the stage, and so it's possible to get this. And if you want to do it, and in our company, if a person wants to do it, he will get also the chance. We don't look if it's a woman or a man.
What's your experience?
Look, I'm a scientist by training, but I did a long time also in consulting, right? But of course, that maybe was the first step to do something else and try it. And I think the first step really is to raise your hand and say, I'd be interested in actually trying a new role. And then you need to seek a bit, I mean, you shouldn't just raise your hand for something where you're not qualified or where you will not be actually able to make a contribution. But there are a lot of roles out there where, especially with a technical background, you bring the analytics, you bring the problem-solving skills, and then you need to see who do I need to be exposed to and what does it take to actually take on a new challenge. And then finding the mentors and the sponsors that help in that, I think, is extremely important. But we've heard it the other way around, right? Some people are told, you don't have a technical background, you will never make it far. But none of that is true, right? I think it's about raising your hand, figuring out also what is missing maybe, what do I need to learn to do that, and then just trying it out.
I think one of the messages that was conveyed today, and which I personally find very important, is you do not need to accommodate to other people. So you don't need to fit in. I remember as a child being told by my mother and my grandmother, like, you should not be heard, you should only be seen, and you should see nice, like you should shut up and pay attention to your eldest. But right now, I see the opposite is true. Actually, you have to be heard. Of course, you have to be noticed. So I think one of the most important things that we have to do as women is to know our power and to not be afraid of our own power. We have to be heard and do not hesitate to say, I do not agree. Even if you're young, if you're afraid, do it anyway. Say, I do not agree, or I want to go this way, or I'm convinced this way is better, because what your boss needs is somebody driven, somebody who they can rely on. It does not really matter if it's a woman or a man. What you need is somebody competent, somebody brave, able to see things and to drive other people into that. So my first recommendation is to really, make your voice be heard. And sometimes we are always like waiting for the right moment, waiting for the people not to reject us. Do not be afraid of that. That is going to come anyway. You cannot control that. That was other of the messages. You cannot control that. But if you're heard, if you're seen, then something is going to happen. And normally it's something positive. That's the way you convey your career forward.
I think there's one more aspect that I'd like to add to everything that's been said that's super correct from the HR side, because the career does not automatically mean that it has to be a management career. And I think this is especially interesting in a field and how we are sitting here together. I'm sure there is a number of scientists I see nodding. Scientists, technical experts, commercial experts. We probably have pretty much everything sitting around here. And definitely it's not the case that career and progressing in career can only mean that you need to become a boss and then a bigger boss and then the next boss. If this is nothing that is really your own choice and the wish of how you want to progress, you have mentioned this, you've done that step out of research, that's not for everyone. And I think it's very important to answer that question individually for oneself first, and then follow the path, because there's fantastic expertise-based career possibilities, at least in the company I can speak for, that allow bringing in the experiences and expertises of oneself into the context of the company and the success of the company, and joining that, merging that with other people who actually feel like they are for going into leadership and then doing maybe some more administrative stuff rather than the in-depth expertise work, and making sure that everyone follows their own ambitions and their own path helps us to get the right people into the right positions for the success of the company and of the industry.
Very good. Thank you. I don't see a question there. Do we have something there? No, I don't see anything. Is there anyone? Oh, now we have it. How do we keep women in plastics or in technical roles? That's a good question. We always talk about it's a little family, especially in Austria, the family, the plastics industry. We hardly ever lose anyone once they're in the plastic industry. They show up at different companies. You're there, for example, good examples so in the audience. But how do we keep women in plastics? If I make comment, I think it's really the great chance to be innovative, to work on products and ideas that are unique. There are things that you can invent or think of that have never been there before. You don't have that chance in many industries, actually. And one thing that's very important for me too, we can also pass on to other people. We can talk to people. It's so important when we talked about it already today. When you say you're in the plastics industry or somewhere around, people like say plastics industry. I mean, this is like the worst thing you can do. But once you start talking to them, it's only 3 or 4 sentences. They find out it's quite interesting. We can do a lot that makes the future much better. So that's my perspective.
There's one brief one. I think one of the essential points is, so you talk about plastics and very often there is that problem, the issue topic coming around. And I believe that working in the plastics industries, we are part of the solutions. So we can provide solutions, and especially, I think pretty much everyone, but especially the younger generations coming now into the working market are strongly driven by that sense of purpose. And having that purpose of resolving issues, of improving things, of going into circularity, of finding those innovative approaches in order to improve the situation for everyone is something that should attract and keep women and people in the plastics industry.
And I also wanted to say, to retain somebody somewhere, they must be comfortable. So it is important for us to make the industry and the job positions comfortable for women as well, of course, the technical positions as well. And I think one thing which I know we didn't want to talk about this, but one of the things that make it hard for us as women is that sometimes we think we have to decide between motherhood and career. Many things happen there. But I think it is important to realize that you can be a mother and you can be a successful technician in plastics industry. Of course, there's a lot that has to happen there. But when I recall how afraid I was to miss who I was before until I had my children, then I think it is important for me to tell you, you get to go back to your life, you get to go back to leading roles, even to managing director, it is possible. And it is also, your children are even going to be better with you fulfilling your own life purpose than staying at home. So don't be afraid. I think that is one of the things that has driven my female colleagues out of the world, that sometimes they are in a very masculine environment and they are told, like, if you work only 20 hours a week, then your work is not worth enough. It's like you changed and you dumped your brain because you became a mom. That is absolutely not true, and I think that is one of the things that we structurally have to change, to make sure that women are comfortable, to make sure that there is a place for them, for us, when we have our small children, and to make sure that we can also fulfill our roles and our ambitions when we are done with that phase.
Thank you. We talked a lot when we met at press conferences all over the world. The first thing we asked are, how are your children? So it's both sides are very important, but still it's the choice that you can make. I mean, that's important that you have the choice to make it.
I would like to add something into this. I was traveling with my mom 20, 30 years ago a lot to trade missions and so on. And we were the only women mostly the time here. So we 2 women and a lot of men. And then there was the question they asked me. At that time I had 2 children. At the moment I have 5. And then they asked me, oh, you have 2 children. Who is looking after them? And I was, it's with my husband, it's the grandma, it's this and this. And then I thought, why they ask me all the time these questions? And then when I was asked again, then I asked him, oh, do you also have children? And he said, yes, I have 3 or whatever, 1. Then I asked him, and who is looking after your children? And then they didn't ask anymore.
That's a very good statement. Very good. Yeah, I see the time is really running. They're already waiting. There are already waiting some people for us back there. I think we need a next session of this great event. We'll do this again, I think so. The most important thing is every one of you is invited now for drinks and snacks. I said that before. And every one of you, I don't know if everyone will like it, but you get a little bag, you get a little present. So come and join us. I'm a little out of my schedule now, but if you please would stay here, and I would ask also the other speakers and panel on stage, because I would like to ask some people on stage. Without them, this event would have never been possible. It's those people that we have been talking about it for a long time, from Plastics Europe, from the K-Fair, organizing everything on stage, behind, and around me and us. It's been a big us for the last month. And Olivia, can you come on stage? And Mirjam? And is Stephanie Kalila still around somewhere? Okay, very good. So let's have a big cheer for the whole crowd behind this event. Bettina Dempel-Wolf, I think everyone knows you here around. Thank you for coming, Plastics Europe Germany. Dear Cornelia, please come on stage. Dr. Cornelia Jokic. And there are some more people who don't want to come. I think, Thomas, you are the first male person here on stage. Woo! Let's give him a very big hug to come up here. Thank you. Dear Petra, dear Christine. So I learned a new word, actually, the last days. It's called glimmer. It's probably not new for the native speakers, but they proposed it to me as the opposite of a trigger, because it shows those positive moments, a glimmer. It shows up and it lights, it guides your way, and it shows you all the positive moments in your life. And I can, for me personally, say this is a really very positive and emotional moment for me to be up here on stage. Thank you so much for inviting me also to moderate this event. And thank you for organizing here, and thank you for being here. And I hope we have a great network event now. I hope they have prepared some drinks. Yeah, very good. So pick up your presents, don't forget them. Stay with us and come back, hopefully, in 3 years.
Dear Kerstin, thank you very much for hosting the first edition of Women in Plastics at K 2025. And now we invite everyone to join us for the networking behind the stage. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you.